Cesar, the crowd pleaser. If you need to pick me up, ladies, we gon' change your demeanor. Caesar, the crowd pleaser. We gon' do a little dance, we gon' make the naysayers believe us. Hey girl, had a long day, you tired from work. Throw me some dollars and I remove my shirt. You can touch me too, these are the perks. Free yourself, lose your mind and go berserk, and go berserk, and go berserk, and go berserk.
Make way for the bad guy.
What is up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Crowd Pleaser, the podcast that brings you the inside scoop on what it takes to be a male entertainer in today's age. I'm your host, Cesar the Crowd Pleaser, and this week for episode 30, we're going to be discussing youth versus age in the male strip club world. And I'm bringing back one of my favorite co-hosts and one of your favorites from the feedback you've been leaving. I want to welcome the voice of LeBear, the DJ of LeBear, the MC of LeBear, Kayden. How you doing, Kayden?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me back.
Awesome, man. Glad to have you.
Yeah.
You've been on the show 2 times now?
Yes.
And
yes,
people
man.
really respond really well to you, so decided to bring you back on. It's after work on a good Saturday night, so
thank you.
Hopefully we still got a voice going.
Yeah, it was a good Saturday night, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. The weather's been kind of down all week, so it cleared up just enough for people want to get out tonight, and they sure as heck did.
Yeah. Yeah, we were packed, weren't we?
Yeah, it was definitely a full club. So with that, let's go ahead and segue into our home office. That is Dallas LeBear, #1 destination for all parties involving ladies. All right, this is Wednesday to Sunday, 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. Come out, bachelorette parties, divorce parties, quinceañera. Well, probably not that. That might be a little much. But you name it, we got it. You can even have your business meetings after or before coming out to the club. But definitely check it out. We also do private parties. All the entertainers are available to go out there. Even Kayden, as long as it's during the day, can definitely come out and do a private party. In fact, my first strippergram was with you. If you remember a long time ago, dating back 6 years, probably not, but it was with you. So
really?
Yeah, definitely took my first one was with you, and then the second one was with Randy at a restaurant. Yours was at a private residence.
Did we do a house?
Yeah.
We're at home?
Yep, we
Private
did a
residence?
house. It was a good time.
Was it a Latin party?
Yeah, it was.
I remember.
You do remember. It was right before Magic Mike came out, actually, because we were playing off of the the movie trailer.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I remember that. Wow, 6 years.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
The next I want to mention are patrons. Thank you guys so much. This show is what it is because of you. If you feel like you've made some kind of benefit because of the information we put out and stuff like that, and you want to give a little something back, by all means, it's not required, but if you want to, definitely check it out. Patreon.com/crowdpleaser. It is really appreciated. Helps me pursue other projects and stuff to give out to you guys, and you get all kinds of neat perks like watching the rehearsals and creation process of my various acts, as well as actually seeing them perform on stage if you aren't able to make it out to the club. So definitely check it out. Moving on, our shout outs. I want to give a shout out to Caitlin Homey and Superman 12285. Both of these individuals have left a rating on iTunes on the podcast and really helps us out sharing it and getting out to other people. So thank you both so much for leaving a rating and comment. It is really appreciated. All right, Kayden, with that, let's go ahead and jump into our topic, brother. You've been around a long time. I've been around semi-long time, and there's always been the argument that it is a young man's game, but the truth of the matter is that we have more mature people hanging around doing the job as well. And so today we're going to discuss youth versus age.
Great topic.
And I'll go ahead and start us off. The typical reason why people aim that it's going to be a young man's game is the fact that people are getting out of, guys are getting out of high school. They're still maybe trying to pay for college or going to college or trying to figure out what they want to do. And so being a stripper is an easy fix. You can show up and you kind of start learning the job, trial by fire right away. But it's a lot of people interpret it as a party, and thus the younger guys can party with everyone that comes in. It just ends up being a really good time. Do you have anything to add about that?
Man, it is a good time. I came in young and had a great time. And I loved to party. I still love to party and have a great time. But I guess you have to kind of live it up, go through it all to be able to look back on it now.
Yeah.
And realize might have been partying a little too much at times. But it was a great time. It's always been a great time. But it just feels weird now. It feels weird to be able to say that we're semi-old school.
Yeah.
We're on our way to being old school.
Yeah, for real. I've made that a realization when I was talking to Axel, when I had him on the podcast, that we were like, man, I think for about 6 months before us, and about 6 months after, so maybe about a year before us, all those people are gone. They're not dancing anymore. Like, there's a huge gap. So I have people like you, Ace, and Brandon, and Dominic that have been dancing before me, and then everyone else started dancing after me.
Wow.
So
I mean, we are veterans, and I remember when I wasn't a veteran. Huh.
Yeah, you were looking up to people and still kind of learning. I mean, heck, I'm still learning. Every day I learn something new.
Yeah.
But I like what you mentioned, that it is a party, it is a good time, and the more you treat it like that, the more fun you're going to have, the more fun people that come to see you are going to have, and it's just good for business. But you do have to remember it is a business.
Right.
You can't make it too personal. You can't, if you're having a bad day, that has to stay at the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can't party too hard. You know, if you go a little heavy on the alcohol, you have a hard time doing choreography or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a thing. And so you don't want to go too far to the extreme where it's 100% business and you're no fun. So you got to find the happy medium, like all things, right?
Yep. We're at work, and I don't know where else you can go to work and have drinks. I mean, I'm sure there are exceptions, but and we're all adults too, so you have to be able to kind of, man yourself.
Well, that's based on the woman that you're talking to. I've had plenty of women come in there and still call me a baby. So that's something that that really, you kind of have to deal with.
Feel good though? Feels good.
I'll take it either way. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
People can call me old or young. It doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, my body feels the way it feels, and that's all it is. Normally, when someone asks me my age, I tell them, give me a guess, and then I'll tell you my age. And luckily, so far, everyone's still aiming low.
That's
so
awesome.
I've got a little bit of longevity left in the business still.
I think so too.
Shoot, man, you're up there. So you had mentioned something before the show about there's a certain glow to youth when they're in the club. I unfortunately wasn't able to quite experience that. Maybe I did. I'm not really sure. I came into the club quite late. I was already in my 30s when I started dancing. But we do have a lot of guys that some aren't even old enough to drink, and then others are still in their early 20s. And, you said you came in young. So talk a little bit about that glow.
That glow, man. And I look back at pictures of myself that pop up on Facebook or whatever, and I see the glow in those photos. That glow that I had as a young man. You're just happy, and I'm happy. I'm more happy than I've ever been. But when you're just young and kind of dumb,
naive,
just innocent, naive,
you're on top of the world.
You're on top of the world. It's a great time. I just remember being able to go all night. I didn't care what time I got home. I could go till 6, 7 a.m. and I'd have the other guy saying, you'll feel it, you'll start to feel that. And now I'm starting to feel that. Maybe this year. Yeah. A couple of hangovers have been pretty rough, maybe. Mm-hmm. But I still like to party and have a good time. But I see that glow in the young guys that we have on our roster. And
they're still they're still kept. They're not jaded. They haven't experienced enough
of
life.
They're not bitter.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not. They're still. Yeah, they still might not see it as a business yet. They're still. Some do. And when you're young and naive, maybe I don't know. Maybe a lot more rolls off your shoulders. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're just too young and dumb to figure it out. I don't know.
So I guess if you have that naive glow, that motivation where like everything's awesome because you're just experiencing great things with great people, you're the center of attention on stage, the music's hyped, you have the feel, the vibe of the women are paying you to get attention, all that stuff going on. Would you say that the flip side to the age part is maybe the confidence, like the stability in yourself, where you can go on stage and maybe it's a rough crowd period for everybody, you know what I mean? But hey, it's a rough crowd. I'm still putting on a good show. It's okay. It's not going to ruin my night. It's not going to ruin my mood. I could take the hit. Like,
yeah. Do you think that? And that's great. I agree with you there. Do you think that comes with age, or do you think that comes with being in the business for so long?
It definitely. I mean, you need both. You need the both because you need. It boils down to experience. Doesn't matter with regardless. Any job that you do, for example, let's just say a welder, right? Completely random, off the cuff. As you weld over and over again, you're going to come across certain problems and certain issues and certain things where, like, they might have not taught you in welding school. So you're like, oh, okay, I have to do, I don't know. I don't know anything about welding. I did it one time and enjoyed it. But what I'm saying is that you need to experience stuff over and over again before you start learning tricks of the trade and understanding yourself. And it does hurt. We've seen it plenty of times where guys come in, very attractive dudes. They go up on that stage thinking they're used to being the most attractive dude everywhere they go. They come to La Bear with a bunch of other attractive guys. They go on that stage, and the first time a handful of women kind of just shrug and move on, they're devastated.
Yeah.
And it's
and they'll experience, maybe the beginner's luck that we all tend to have. Stud can come in, and everybody wants to meet him, so they usually do well at first, and then they'll have a bad set one day, and it's just the end of the world. So after a while, like you said, spending time in the business and just doing just night after night, just rocking the house, just set after set, you'll learn to cope with that. But when you're older, as you get older, it's even easier to cope with that.
Yeah.
And I think you're right, like you said, about that stability, being able, mental stability. You just have it under control. As you get older, you've seen more. You can go out there with a different mindset and be okay with putting on your performance and not necessarily having everybody get up to your stage. I know you'd rather have them come up there, but at the same time, you won't be kicking yourself.
Well, see, there's also like a sense of stability and solidification of who you are. Like, veterans are going to explore things. They're still going to expand, but they know what they can do. They know how to put on a show. They know how to talk to people, and they know what they want to present. And so it's a little more steady. The youth rides on this excitement and this high energy, and that kind of hides the rough edges versus when someone's been doing the business long enough. Like, for example, Brandon Byers. I've always said he is the smoothest, coolest cat I've ever seen. He could fall down the stairs and make it look like he's figure skating. He's that smooth. I've heard multiple people say that he looks like he's on the prowl when he's walking around the club. And it's that level of it's a different kind of confidence. It's not, I'm going to take on the world, I'm invincible confidence. It's like, this is what I'm capable of doing. I'm in my element. I know how to operate. And it's really great because it's like a dapper gangster type thing. You know what I mean? Those people that come in and they command the room, but they're not yelling. They're not, crying out for attention. They're not peacocking. They have this aura, this vibe about them. And you presence. See that. Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
Rico was another great
demeanor.
one, Rico was doing the job forever, but he'd go on that stage and could play any genre of music and just connect with every single woman up there.
Yeah.
And it was so great to watch. And there is no right or wrong way to do it. Case in point, Jason. Jason's still very young in the game, and he's he's young, and he rocks it every time he goes on there. The combination of you doing a great job emceeing and him being a great show,
he does great,
is just phenomenal. You know what I mean?
And it's funny that you say that, because lately I kind of wanted to back off on his sets. He and I just kind of experiment with each other. Sometimes we like come up with a game plan. Hey, let's kind of get through these songs real quick at first. Let's machine gun through them and move on to something else like this. I'm going to go to the ceiling. And then sometimes we'll come in there and he'll be like, hey, you don't have to say anything. And I'll purposely back off and let him rise as an artist and completely take over and kind of bring everybody up to that stage because, of his art. Because that's what it is. It's art. It's I think it should be different every time. It's consistent as it is. I think, it's nice to to be different sometimes. You know, sometimes.
Well, it's never the same crowd. It's absolutely every single time you go up on stage, it's a different crowd. Even if you have the same people, sometimes they're in a different vibe. They've had more alcohol, they've had less alcohol, they're having a good day, they're having a bad day. And all that comes into account, and you really have to feel off that vibe. And not being that cookie cutter, I'm going to do this exact same thing every time because this is what worked for me. It makes a big difference. Playing a different kind of song, switching something. You know, you've done it on the fly. You and I have made eye contact and be like, hey, the set mix isn't working. Go ahead and transition to another one.
Totally.
And so it makes a difference. And that might be the biggest difference between an entertainer that's still learning and one that's starting to kind of come into themselves, is the ability to, they know what they can do and they know how to shift when they need to, versus just kind of like, I'm going to keep trying stuff and see what works.
Right. Yeah. Being able to shift when they need to and adjust to the crowd, to the music, to me. It's something that can only come with age and experience, and I think it shows. It definitely shows. It may not, show on stage, but the camaraderie in the back. We're all brothers, and we can kind of tell. We can kind of tell when somebody's figuring it out or still trying to figure it out. We can tell when somebody might have something figured out that nobody else does.
Yeah. Have you experienced in the time you've been DJing, seen that transition when a new guy kind of starts to come into their own, and you see them, they might not be, quote unquote, full-fledged veteran, but you see that shift? Because, we've had some guys that are creeping up on time. Like, I've just recently on my birthday made 6 years dancing. Yeah. But, have you seen any of that transitioning going on, or even bits of that group?
I've seen that as a DJ. I've seen that, this is 3 years now as a DJ. I've seen that with guys that I've DJ'd for, and also only a few left guys that I've danced with, you being one of them. I've watched, you grow and other guys grow into themselves and find their niche, if you will. Mm-hmm. And as a DJ, I've seen it with a few of the new guys, and some of them are still trying to find themselves and find their niche, find their style. They're just kind of trying new things, and that's great. I don't mind helping them. I will never put a stop to creativity. Mm-hmm. But I hope that everybody's kind of really paying close attention to themselves and not trying to compare themselves to everybody else. Just kind of worry about what works for you, and what works for you might not work for the next guy. But
how do conversations with you, being the DJ, like all the entertainers go up to you before their sets, when they're coming up with new shows, when they're coming up with new music and stuff? Do you notice a difference between the youth and the more mature entertainers, when the veterans, when they come up and approach you and have conversations with you about shows?
Yeah, for sure. Younger guys tend to really want to they really want to pick their music, and they think, and I know that they're feeling it. Maybe they heard the song at the gym that day, and they were feeling good on the treadmill, and it doesn't necessarily work out when they use it on the stage that night. And that's just that's where I kind of feel torn, because at heart I started off as an entertainer and a musician. So now, being in the game, being on the other side of it all, young guys will come in. They really want to make sure that some songs, get played on that set. And I used to, I'd suggest, maybe why don't you try this? Maybe play this instead. Maybe that'll work. And I'd almost argue with them. Lately, now, I'm just letting everybody kind of, with younger guys only. Older guys seem to trust me, but lately the younger guys have been coming in, trying to pick songs, make suggestions. They might not want to use it, so I just let them roll with what they want to use. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
I always tell people, like, you want to have music that you're feeling, so you have that emotion on stage, but at the same time, you have to remember that we primarily play music for the women, not for us.
Totally.
You have the gym, you have your house, you have your car to play the music that you want to hear.
Yeah.
If for example, you know, you, me, Jason, we like heavy rock, you know, and you guys like even some screamo stuff. Well, you as DJ know that we can't get away with that in the club. It just isn't popular enough. And so, yeah, even though you would jam out to it in the club, it's going to hurt your stage. And thus, you just can't.
Right. So with the older guys, lately it's usually, hey, what's up, man? We're going to stick to the game plan. The usual? Yeah, let's do it. All right, cool. Boom. They trust me. I trust them. New guys, it's, hey, can I do this song, that song, this song? And some of them trust me, though. They'll kind of, you know, bounce ideas off me. Hey, you think this will work? And I'll tell them, hey, maybe you should try this, maybe. And I'll kind of get the feel for what they're going for. And then I can swoop in with other suggestions. And
yeah, and you're really good about that. I mean, I've caught you, me included, as you're exploring music, because you want to keep up with top 40 and the times, because
I
you're
really
a
try
good
to
DJ.
keep it fresh, man.
I've definitely, like I said, you've messaged me, hey, try this song. What do you think? You came to mind about it, and I've seen you do it with other entertainers as well, to not only keep the club up to date on music, but also pick the music that fits the entertainer.
Absolutely. And I listen to so much music, man. I'm listening to music 24/7 and new music too, because I've got a library full of old tunes that have just made me who I am. And you know, I can jam old tunes and throwbacks all day, but music is such a strange game and an awesome art. I like to stay on top of what's fresh, because anybody who's putting music out there, you know, is trying, you know, is trying, you know, they're trying to outdo the next guy or outdo the next, your last song, outdo yourself.
Yeah.
So I really try to keep it fresh, and I think y'all do a great job too. I think we all do a great job of trying to keep it fresh. That's kind of established now that hot songs work. New songs usually do work. Sometimes they don't, you know. But you know, girls tend to have great taste in music too. I don't know what it is. Ladies, just chicks. My sister has great taste in music. So.
And then sometimes great songs aren't good for stage.
Right. Yeah, that's another thing.
Or vice versa. I've heard.
You know what's crazy? It's sometimes. I don't mean to cut you off, but sometimes the songs aren't good for stage, and I've got so much on my mind. I got so much on my mind all the time. Sometimes, you know, those songs will be good once. There's, you know, like that one we used the other night.
Oh, it was great.
Never Tears Apart?
See, and that's funny because it was actually the opposite. Like, I don't think I would actually listen to that song on my own.
Right.
But you kind of, hey, let's try it out. I was like, you know what? Sure, let's do it. And I ended up vibing so well with it. And the girl enjoyed me dancing on her to it. It just worked out really well.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy, you know.
There are songs in the library that I save. You guys go out there and put out your vibes every night, and we create an atmosphere together as a team. And there are songs that might not be able to go on our list of tracks that we throw on every night, but it has a time and it has a place, and we may be only be able to use it one time. But I like it when the veterans tend to trust me on that and let me slide those songs in that I've been saving, or that they've been saving,
and see what happens.
Yeah, Dominic has a lot of songs in his library that I save for him, and they're really popular songs. And I'll bet that a lot of people think we play them regularly for, you know, random guys, but we don't. They're his tracks, and they're fresh and they're high, and he's, you know, pretty cool about giving me a wide variety of tracks and letting me
give you the artistic freedom.
Yeah, it kind of gives me artistic freedom. Kind of lets me pick which ones to play. He just kind of gives me a tempo. Hey, we're taking it slow. Or hey, we're gonna.
It is really great to see how every generation of new entertainers ends up picking up those old classics. Like, you know, songs that I used to play when I first started, and I was like, okay, let me move on to the more fresh things. I see the guys generations behind me playing all over again, you know, like, you know, Salt and Pepper and Led Zeppelin, ACD, like
Paxton likes Shoop De Whoop.
Yeah. All those songs that I go back to my original set mixes. I'm like, hey, those songs were in there. I completely forgot I had that. And it's cool. Like, by all means, play it. There's classics. They're never going to go bad. But it's just interesting to see it. How do you think there's a do you think there's a distinct difference in the way the rookies versus the veterans interact with the women? You included.
Me included.
Yeah, like
I'm in the middle now.
From when you started to now.
Right. Yeah. You know, when I was younger, I'll just speak for myself on this one. When I was younger, I couldn't remember anybody's name. I was just having such a great time. I remembered everybody's face, and familiar faces all the time. Always nice to see the ladies that come see us, regularly or once in a while. But I was just caught up in having a great time with the guys and treating it as a party. Now I'm older, and so I see. So back to that, young guys might kind of be the same way. Young guys just having a great time, friendly. But when you get older, you actually become friends with the people you interact with on a regular basis or a yearly basis. So yeah, I'm coming into the game when I was really young, fresh out of high school, I didn't see, it was a new world for me. All my friends from high school, we split. People go to college, and some get jobs, some move away, some get married. So it was just a new world. There were new faces. I was just excited to meet new people. I wasn't really looking to network or build relationships. I was just happy to be at LeBaire, having a great time, entertaining. Now I'm older. Years have gone by. A lot of our time is spent at the club. We work 5 nights a week. And when we're not at work, we're working out and we're sleeping, eating, and right back to it. So the only time I really get to hang out and, bullshit is at LeBaire and have a good time and kind of hang out with people is at LeBaire. So I appreciate the ladies that come and see me. They've become my friends. It's more real.
Yeah.
I think the older guys kind of tend to interact the same way sometimes.
Yeah,
just more personal.
Like the youth is there to party. It's like, hey, we're vibing. Let's just have a good time. We're here for the evening. Short term, very, very impulsive, very high emotion. Versus the veterans, they understand that there's a lot more going on, and it's a little more. There's more depth to it. There's more longevity.
And appreciation.
To it. Yeah,
I appreciate the ladies that appreciate me. It's awesome.
Yeah, true story. You see the value in it.
Totally. Yeah. It makes me feel good. Yeah. That I can make them feel good. We connect there. And I think I have a real connection with a lot more people now than I did when I was, 22, 23.
Yeah, you value certain things differently, and you put presence over the things that have more meaning than when you did when you were younger.
And you're only young for so long in your early 20s. Then you're in your early 20s, and then you're just kind of an adult, and boom, you're just an adult from then on. So when you're young and you come into the business, you're kind of a kid around other kids, but around a lot of adults, working with adults, and interacting and entertaining adults. When you're young, it's like you're a kid getting tipped by adults. It's kind of weird, you know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to connect on a real level. They still see you as a kid, and even though we're older now, and there's still some ladies that see us as kids, when you kind of get out of your boyhood and kind of become a man, and you're just a young man, you start to feel more of a real connection. You're around ladies and you're entertaining ladies that are your age, and it's cool. And they become your friends, and it's awesome. And they appreciate you for your art, and I think that's great.
It's funny too, because there's like, I'm not gonna say less tolerance, because I have patience for days. I can put up with everyone, but I feel like I have more eye roll moments now than when I first started. You know what I mean? Like everything was so cool, interacting with people and this and that. And like as I've gotten older, sometimes women say stuff, or I see the guys do something or whatever, and I just kind of like shrug and eye roll, compared to before when I didn't. So I think it's quite humorous. And the thing is, too, that I've learned as well is that I deal with less people that don't kind of jive, at least on a base level. You mentioned, that you have meaningful, connections with so many people now that I'm not sure what creates it. I don't know if it's the vibe we give off or what we pull in, but yeah, I distinctly remember when I was earlier in my career, just a plethora, like of such a wide variety of women that I would interact with, and there were so many other things I was just like, okay, I get it, but like I don't know, it just didn't quite click. And now I feel like it's slim to none. Like every single person that I interact with longer than like a single on the side stage, hey, you're hot, here's a couple bucks. We overlap so much more, and it's crazy because I don't feel like I've done anything different to warrant that, but it has happened.
Maybe it's just finding yourself. You've totally found yourself, like we talked about, these young guys coming into the game, finding themselves. They're not used to talking to girls. They're awkward, or they can be awkward. And nobody really is used to talking to girls at that high volume. At least I wasn't.
No, you're interacting with anywhere from 20 to 120 people a night.
Yeah, all female too.
Yeah.
Nobody's used to that.
Varieties of emotions and sobriety.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Isn't there? It's awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. It's a huge social experiment. Like it really is. It's like a heated petri dish of social interactions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And and once again, the veterans have seen it so many times where there's nothing it isn't the first time you see something anymore, so you know how to navigate those things, and thus you maintain like that smooth, calm demeanor.
Mm-hmm. And as you get older, you become, I don't mean to cut you off, but you become more wise. So as you get older, you're more wise. You came in, like you mentioned, in your 30s, a young man, but wise. You weren't 24, 25. So do you think that
thanks, man,
it was able do you think it was you were able to were you able to come in and was it an easy start for you? You came in.
I mean, it definitely was an easy start because one, I wasn't used to
emotionally
yeah.
dealing with all the emotions and already being prior military and around a lot of personalities.
I've just been exposed to so much, and like you said, I've gathered the wisdom from that of interacting with alpha types, with submissive types, with so many different levels of emotion, intelligence, class, society standards. It definitely, I will admit, between being in special operations and then being a bodyguard and working with government officials, I did tend to lean a little more towards, if I could be blunt, like the higher kind of morale and value type level of society, versus obviously working at a strip club. I've seen a little bit more of the lower end, which I needed to experience, and I've learned a lot from that. And once again, not judgmental. I understand that's the lifestyle they've chosen and the lifestyle that's been given to them and whatnot. But I was ignorant of that. I've learned so much, and it's funny that you mentioned that because now your question actually threw off where I was going with that train of thought.
Sorry,
but no, it's perfectly all right. The coming in at that level, we've discussed it before, where you hear the young guys kind of stressing about things that might be such a big deal to them, but when you've seen bigger things happen to other people as well as yourself, it doesn't seem a stress. So one of the conversations you and I have had is when people are stressed out because either it's a slow night or something bad might have happened or whatever, you always look at me, you're like, hey man, is everything cool? I'm like, dude, everything's fine. And we had that conversation maybe a month ago with you and Jason there where I was like, look, dude, I've been shot at, man.
Yeah.
Like, nothing that's going to happen in that club is going to stress me out.
Dude, when you said that, I thought it was a great answer, and I completely understood. And I thank you for being so cool. But yeah, I remember asking you if everything was all right, and you were like, dude, when you think I'm stressed out, just remember I've been shot at.
Yeah,
I was like, he's right, man. Yeah. I was like, there's no way that I'm bothering you that bad, right?
I mean, remember we talked about last time you were on the show. Remember, I took 1 foot into the shower and the computer froze.
Oh yeah, Man.
And there was no recovering from that. Like, I had to commit, and you just, being the great DJ you are, grabbed the first CD you saw, threw it in there.
Ace's CD,
Yeah.
and there was a rock song in there.
And it worked out perfectly.
I cannot believe that worked out.
It worked out so good for shower, too. I was so impressed. In fact, next time I do shower, we'll play that song again. I don't even remember what song it was now.
It was
Orgy.
Orgy.
Was it Orgy?
It was
okay.
Orgy. That's crazy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And you know, you're like, hey, dude, I'm so sorry. I'm like, man, it's cool. The computer froze. That was not your fault. And you recovered as quickly as you could. So,
well, thank you, man. That's the veteran in you, rolling with the punches, and the experience you have. You've seen so many sets go well. You've seen some sets go wrong. So that's something that I think.
Yeah. Let's get a little more in depth or a little more real, if we could. Do you see any major similarities or differences in veterans and rookies when it comes to making money, or how their emotions act in accordance to the money they make?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do see some similarities and differences when it comes to young guys versus older guys, or rookies versus veterans making money. Of course, similarities are we all get happy when we're making money. We're all in a great mood when we're making money. That goes from veteran to rookie. And then some veterans are more humble and quiet about the money that they make, as opposed to the rookies flaunting the money that they'll bring in on a slow night, maybe that was slow for everybody else. Maybe we didn't have high volume, and they just got lucky and made some good money. And I see, most veterans.
It makes perfect sense. I understand. The veterans, you can't tell whether they're making $1 million or they're making $10.
Exactly.
Because they treat everybody the same, their demeanor's the same, and they just understand that neither direction, if you're not making money and you're sad about it, that's just going to lead to negative energy that's not going to help you.
Right.
And if you should be happy when you make money, and that's good, but don't let it be the pure source. Like, instead of being happy because you're making money, be happy because you're making other people happy, because people find you attractive, because your show is good, because you're improving people's moods. And that's the kind of energy and focus that will generate more income.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I feel like focusing on the money is something that the younger guys do, because obviously, like, hey, you're literally getting cash in hand. You don't have to wait to the end of the week to get paid. Like, people are handing you money. And sometimes it's women that you find attractive. And that could really get the better of you. And so, once again, we go back to that, I'm on top of the world, nothing can hurt me. But then the flip side is they ride that high. And as soon as they have a couple of bad nights, all of a sudden now they're down in dumps. They have that negative energy going on. And it just hurts you.
Yeah, and as a young man, it's crazy. I might be saying things that I shouldn't say, but so you come in as a young man, and usually men that are in their early 20s, a man, most men, maybe in a locker room environment, are measured by how many women they've slept with, or you know what I mean, how many notches on the bedpost they have, or whatever. They're measured by, who's gotten laid more than the other guy. And then you come into LeVere, and it's the opposite. It's not like that at all. You're not. Nobody care. We all get as many girls as you want. That's not the case. It's measured by how well you entertain, how well the measure of a man is not how many girls you've been with. Once you get to LeVere, it becomes your character, your integrity.
Things of substance.
Yeah, the girls that you've been with. All that doesn't matter anymore at all. Even though we're entertaining ladies, it's all about being punctual. That's just an entire different side of it that I don't think a lot of the ladies even realize. Young guys come into the business, and maybe they're in college, and in college, all you have to do is pass your tests, make the grades. You don't necessarily have to be there every day. Older guys that have been in the work environment and out of school. They're used to having to show up on time, and having bosses and supervisors, and being in the real world. you know, the flip side of it all is behind the curtain. You know, if you're late, you're fined. If you're, you know,
you have to be responsible.
Incoherent, yeah, you have to be responsible. If you're incoherent, you're in trouble. And I don't think a lot of the young guys realize that when they come into LeBaire, it's a job and it's a full-time job, and you're held accountable. And the veterans to understand that whether they feel well or not, whether they're sick or hungover,
the show goes on.
The show goes on. They show up. They are, you know, ready to go on stage when it's time, as opposed to the young guys who, you know, might be, you know, fresh out of college and used to being able to take a day off and maybe not show up to class one day, and they're not used to having a full-time job where,
very true.
If you take a day off and it's, you know, it's not your vacation days, and you have consequences. You're written up or whatever it may be.
Well, shoot, even stage time isn't guaranteed. You've been responsible, as well as Alex, messaging you being like, hey, this guy doesn't have a good show. He doesn't get to go up during prime time. And
it usually happens with our younger entertainers, not necessarily young in age, but fresh.
Yeah.
Or rookies, if you will. Yeah.
Or it's like, all right, go on stage. Oh, look, you're not winning the crowd over. In fact, you're killing them. All right, cut. Put the next guy up.
And that's happened with some veterans.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but
no, it's good though. So you've made your rite of passage. You've deserved your time. You put on a good show, but you still have to maintain. You still have to evolve. Society's evolving. Your show has to evolve.
Yep.
Or at the very least, have the charisma and the show and the stage presence to adjust to whatever's in front of you, because that stage is earned.
That stage is totally earned. Yeah.
And it's not the same crowd every night.
It's not. That's crazy.
Everyone has to go through their rite of passage to get that, and then it's almost like a renewal process. You have to keep getting validation over and over again.
Yep.
And if it's not working, then you have to
And I feel the same way. I don't know if you, I don't know, man. No, you're cool, man. You don't stress like I do anymore. But man,
I stress. I just handle it better.
You do, and I don't handle it as well as I should. But man,
you will, man. Just give it time.
I finish every week, dude. No matter how well we did, is it life or is it just LeBaire? But no matter how well the show goes, I'm 30, almost 30.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. It's a new week. Come Wednesday, it's a new crowd. It's a new group of ladies. There are new songs out, available to the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Very much so.
We don't know. Who knows if the next pony is going to drop tomorrow? I'm freaking waiting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you get that really good song and just milk it.
So the next pony might drop next week. Post Malone or who knows? Travis Scott. Somebody might have something in their arsenal. The Weeknd ready to throw out. Bruno Mars ready to throw out to the world. And I'm going to get it. And we're going to have it at LeBaire, and we're going to use it. So every week, no matter how well things went, the playlist that I decided to bring, the entertainment, it's a new crowd, man. And I freak out. And I stress. And I'm never satisfied, ever.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I was going to tell you. You have to look at what you're saying, though. It is a stressor for you, but you have to understand it's also what drives you. And that drive is what's going to help you stay on top. And what, as a team, helps us stay on top because of that. Because as soon as we get complacent...
And we all hold each other accountable. Totally. Oh, yeah. You guys are on top of it, man. With me bringing new tracks.
Sometimes not as politely as we would prefer, but there's nothing wrong with a little friendly competition also.
And I think that me coming into the business at a young age, doing well after a while, and now DJing, I'm not in a position of power. I'm just playing a different position on our team. I'm not a coach. I'm not a coordinator. I'm just playing a different position. Maybe call it the quarterback. And I hope that the guys that have known me for a while see what I do and what I'm doing. And I know that they do. And I think that it motivates them as well. Like, hey, I'm still level. I'm still, I'm not above anybody. So if I'm gonna, work my ass off, you better work your ass off too.
Yeah, well, for sure.
I'm gonna keep it for,
Well, for sure. If people see you putting forth such hard work for somebody else's stage, the least they can do is put the same effort into their own show.
And I think that if we had a guy emceeing our show that was a quote unquote DJ, a DJ by trade, if you will, it would be easy to kind of let that roll off your back. He's a DJ. Of course, he's going to have all the new tracks. That's his job. He's a DJ. He's always been a DJ. That's his job. That's what he does. Is keep the music fresh and just to play good music. Mm-hmm. But I'm not. I was an entertainer first. I'm a musician, but I was an entertainer. So they know that I'm just Kayden, man. I'm still Kayden. I'm the same Kayden that was, having shots with you in the back right before our set. So I know that they saw that evolve as well. Position, of bringing in new tracks and having to hold the DJ booth down. So I think they're like, man, I know, they've known me for so long. I think that it helps them stay motivated as well. Well, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Well, sweet, man. I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and call this a wrap for this show, man. It's touch lightly on it. It's probably something we might later in the future bring in, like maybe 2 rookies and 2 veterans, and just kind of.
Did we get anywhere?
Huh?
Did we get anywhere?
Oh yeah, we definitely did, man. I think we made some progress. It's that's part of the thing about this job, though, is that there's no manual, there's no cut dry A B C D type thing, and so I mean, minus body rolls and choreography and stuff like that, but there's no diehard recipe. I think we did, and if not, then people are still gonna love hearing the sound of your voice, and we'll bring you back on the show again.
Okay.
We
had a long night. Let me blame it on a long night.
Nah, there's nothing to blame for, man. It was a good show, brother. Promise. So we end the show on bad event or worst event and best event of the week. So I'm going to start off my worst event, and you might have seen this because it was on a slow night. But I go up on main stage, and there's 2 ladies in the front of stage having a good old time. Excuse me. That's how my body feels about that experience. Anywho, so I go up on stage. They're dancing, having a good old time. Finally, I get down to my underwear, so it's tip time. I go up to them. I start dancing on them, let them grope me a little bit. Neither of them had money. I was like, okay, cool. Like, it happens.
You have to pay to play.
Nothing's playing right now.
Shut up, Google.
I don't know how that worked out, but all right, I'll leave that in there. So I ended up just being like, all right, cool. I hope you had a good time. Like, go back to your seats or whatnot. And they eventually did. They come back up one more time. Girl A comes back up, and she starts, like, petting me and, like, smacking my butt while I'm talking to this other girl on stage. So I politely, like, without, like, breaking conversation, grab her hand and kind of move it back towards her. And she, like, walks off. I'm like, okay. Well, I start handing out posters. So both her and her friend come back, and this time they're holding up money. So I'm like, all right, cool. You got with the program. I go to, dance on them again. They tip me. I'm like, hey, would you like a poster? And she just like smiles at me googly eyed. I'm like, okay, here's a poster. So she takes it and she like looks at it and she's like mind blown. I move on down the line, go to start talking to somebody else. And then she grabs the poster, my poster, and starts rubbing it on my leg. I'm like, sweetie, it's yours. You're good. And then, so I go down to another girl, and then she starts rubbing it on my back. Finally, I'm like, do you not want the poster? And she just like looks at me and keeps rubbing it. And I finally just I'm sorry, my bad. And I grab the poster. It's cool, I'll take it. Mm-hmm. And she just sat there and started rubbing her face or whatever. Finally, I figured out that she's probably on some kind of, ecstasy or something like that.
I didn't see that. That's funny.
But yeah, I was.
And then what happened?
I mean, then she just gave me a stern look, but not really knowing what was going on. And then her friend pulled her off. And like, it's not horrible. I didn't have a horrible experience, but I'm just sitting there like everyone else on stage. All the regulars were looking like, what is going on? Because she's literally just wiping the poster on my leg and on my back of me. I'm like, what? How does this work?
We get some weirdos.
Yeah, for sure, man. So, like I said, it wasn't anything horrible or traumatizing or anything like that, but it definitely was awkward. Yeah,
that is awkward.
How about you, man? What was your worst event of the week?
Man, my worst event was when I do my lap dances, my VIPs. Mm-hmm. We line up 10 minutes worth of music so I can go do my thing. I take the mic with me. The booth is on lockdown. I don't like anybody in there when I'm not in there. Mm-hmm. So I go to the VIP. I line up JD's set. JD wants to do, I'm not going to say who, but JD usually does Friends in Low Places after his It's Your Love routine. So when I do my VIPs, I line up 10 minutes worth of music. I lined up 10 minutes worth of music for JD. Went back into the VIP. An entertainer asked if I was going to play a certain song, which requires guys getting up onto the stage with JD and kind of doing a group dance. Yeah. I said no. Proceeded to do my VIP. As I'm doing my VIP, JD's music switches, changes into the track that I planned.
Oh, no.
The Backstreet Boy. It went well. No. Then the Backstreet Boy gets cut off for the song that I said that I wasn't going to play. I didn't line it up. On the mic, I say, whoever changed that song better have 10 minutes worth of music lined up. Made me so mad that I had to leave my VIP, go into the booth,
which is disrespectful to the girl that paid for your time.
Yes, disrespectful to the girl that paid for my time. Absolutely. Absolutely. I told that girl that she would have my undivided attention.
Yeah.
And I had to leave.
Go back and reset the music.
Go back, change the music, get upset about it, and then go back into, and that's, I'm 29 years old, so I was able to forget about it and move on. But I was angry, and I didn't want that girl to feel like she was a burden or that she was in the way, that she caused, I didn't want her to feel like it was her fault, that she was, causing problems, or that she was an inconvenience, or that she threw a wrench into our plan. And that wasn't the case at all. So that was my worst event of the week.
I can understand it.
People touching my computer. My computer. And then I told the guy that if he wanted to DJ, he's more than welcome to
give it a shot, and then realize how difficult it really is. Yeah. Anyone can DJ for about 2 minutes. Try DJing a whole night. Yeah. All right, man. So my best event, it's kind of an easy one, but I'm not gonna lie, it made my day. So on a previous podcast, Trey took the time of calling me out on forgetting stuff for acts when I travel, which I do my best to do a checklist and all that stuff. But sometimes it's the end of the night when you're putting everything together, typically a Saturday night, so you're tired. You just kind of want to go home. I got a long drive. So every once in a while I'll forget something. Well, I had my birthday last weekend, which you did a phenomenal job emceeing.
It was an awesome birthday, man. Hope you had a great time.
And shout out to everyone that came out and supported it all 3 nights. Thank you so much. We do our show because of you, and if you didn't come in and support us, then we wouldn't have a show to make. So thank you. My mom had a great time. My brother had a great time as well. But Trey decided to come up and support the birthday as well, and it was great because Trey had this look on his face when he was unpacking all his stuff. And then he kind of looked at me and I looked at him and he didn't want to say anything. So I shrugged it off. And then sure enough, I hear him go up to 2 other guys and say something. They both shook their heads. And he's like, see? I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? He's like, you want to have a pair of jeans I could borrow? I'm like, I might, but what's up, man? And he's like, he really wanted to bite his lip, but he's finally like, I forgot my jeans. And I just looked at him and he's like, I know. And I didn't even have to say anything, and it totally made my night because I was like, see, karma sucks, bro.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, it's really simple. Once again, easy one this week, but it definitely brightened up my night at the fact that he kind of had to put his foot in his mouth on his own. So
can't forget the tearaways.
Yeah, it's a thing, man.
But he's an awesome guy. So.
Oh yeah, phenomenal guy, great friend, great entertainer. Yeah, he's good to people.
No problem finding somebody to let him borrow a pair for the night. He's cool.
What was your best event of the week?
My best event of the week was tonight, man. It's Saturday. The week is now over. I'm hanging out with you. We don't get to chill very much outside of work. So this is awesome. Kind of unwinding. It's not the way I'd usually unwind. I'd probably be loading some more tracks. I don't usually leave the screen. I'd be doing more music and downloading stuff. So this is nice to just sit and chill, just kind of chat, reflect. So highlight of my week tonight, man. Week's done, Saturday. I love being able to step up on Saturday. It makes me feel good about my art. being able to perform in front of a huge crowd like tonight.
For sure.
It gets you high. It feels good. I love it.
I believe it, man.
Y'all too. I'm sure you loved tonight's energy. We had a great feel. It was packed. It was a huge crowd. Probably had 500 girls.
Yeah,
maybe 5.
It
was packed, man.
It always is great. It is great when you feel like you got money in your drawer. You made a lot of people happy. The girls are vibing. It just works. Every guy who goes on stage has a great crowd, great vibe. It really helps out. Girls are smiling. Girls are having a good time. They're getting dances. They're laughing, taking pictures. Like, it just, overall, it's just everything. It's not one single thing that happens. It's just a bunch of everything coming together to create a great night. Just like a great house party, great birthday, it doesn't matter. And then being able to kind of like kick back and relax and look back and be like, yeah, it was a good day. Definitely has some value.
It was fun, man. It was fun. I'm going to be 30 this year, and I wouldn't rather be doing anything else.
Oh,
when I was
man,
a young man,
you're going to need someone to MC your set, aren't you?
Yeah, maybe I'll MC my own set.
Oh, yeah. I just thought that's funny you said that because I was like, shoot, you don't even need me to MC you. We can make that happen. That's actually kind of cool, dude. That'd be a cool idea. Oh, all right.
Can you change my voice a little bit, make it deeper?
Yeah, I got you.
Kind of maybe throw an effect on there, a vocal effect.
All right. Yeah. You guys got to stay tuned for Kayden's birthday.
July 29th, my dirty 30. It's going down. It'll be a Saturday. Hell yeah.
Sounds good, man. Sweet, brother. All right, man. Let's go ahead and put a bow on it. Where can people reach you at?
Kayden LB, like LeBear. Kayden LB. Instagram and Facebook. Trying to get my Instagram following up. I suppose I'm late on the game, but I don't have time to be chatting online with anybody anyway. Hit me up, 2145. I'm just playing.
Nice.
Kayden LB.
Yeah. Hey, man, just start posting videos of you freestyling your guitar. I'm sure that'll get you a bunch of followers. You're a good-looking dude and talented. Yeah, you'll get there.
Thanks, man. I'm having fun with it.
Sweet. Well, you can catch me at Cesar Goyazo on Facebook. That's COLLAZO. Cesar LeBear7 on Instagram and Twitter. And then this podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. And Cesar the Crowd Pleaser. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. This was episode 30, discussing the differences and similarities between youth and age at LeBear Dallas. And so until next time, Kayden, thanks for being on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me back. Thank you so much.
And keep bringing the rain.
I am focused, I'm in my zone. You can binge watch like Game of Thrones. Reserve your judgments, don't throw no stones. Oohs and I scream as loud as you don't. Airplane mode on tablets and phones. Caesar's crowd pleasers is now on. Caesar, the crowd pleaser. If you need to pick me up, ladies, we gon' change your demeanor. Caesar, the crowd pleaser. We gon' do a little dance, we gon' make the naysayers believe us.